Happy Friday, everybody. Okay, so if you are listening to this on Friday or whenever you listen to this on Hacking Self-Storage, basically we've had a massive audio problem, and hence the reason I recorded an amazing episode. I thought it was amazing anyway, and unfortunately it hasn't actually come to fruition. And so we've got a little bit of it's basically, I recorded it, it didn't work. I've recorded another podcast, they haven't worked for whatever reason. The audio hasn't been great. And so I've recorded this on my AirPods. So hopefully you guys can hear it okay. It's done is better than perfect. I always say that. Basically, I had the cleaners come in, and every time I had the cleaners come in, they faff around the audio, wipe it all down, and it's kaput. It's so yeah, I don't know the reason what's gone on, but I am obviously trying to get it done now. So it's out there in the world. I've just recorded another podcast as well. I've got to get these across very, very quickly to my virtual assistant, because she finishes very, very soon, and we've obviously got to get these online. And so yes, so today's episode will be a little bit quicker. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. And I said that Friday's episode would be about how much quotes we could get depending on the population, etc. But it's not going to be about that, because I've got some work to do on that, just to hone it down a little bit, because there's something not quite tallying up. So I just want to go into it, look at it, and just make sure I give you the best possible information with these podcasts. So hopefully it'll be Wednesday's episode. That's what I'm aiming for anyway. So today's episode, somebody asked me a question about how do I go about evaluating competition? Because in most towns, a lot of towns, cities, etc., there is competition there. And so I want to run through that really, really quickly with you guys today. So what I always do is, and by the way, I've got an amazing tool that so many people don't know about, but it's a free tool, and you can find out exactly how big somebody's building is, etc. And so I will put a link to that one in the show notes. So firstly, I am about to open up against 3 other self-storage facilities. And how have I gauged that there is possibility for that market? What have I done? Well, simple. First of all, I've looked at, excuse me. First of all, I've looked at the population, and I've times it by 0.74 square foot. And if you're in London, by the way, don't worry about that 0.74 square foot, because it is in your vicinity. It could be 2, because London is a little bit different to around us. So 0.74 square foot per capita. So if it's 10,000 population, then you need 7,400 of self-storage, of lettable space. That is what the demand is saying at the minute. However, demand is increasing all the time. And so I always think if there's anywhere around that, then I'm happy going into that market. And so that's my first one. And yes, there probably is around about this new place I'm going to. By the way, I can't say exactly where it is yet, because the deal has not been done, but I haven't spoke about this at all. It's just an opportunity that's come up in last week, and I've motored on down there, had a look at it, and it's a really, really good location. I'll get into outposition in a minute, but it's a really, really good location. And I am against 3 other self-storages. And so first of all, so I've had a look at the population. Are we in the demand vicinity? Yes, it's around about. So I've ticked that box. Then what I've done is I have looked at the competition. I've actually gone into the competition and had a look. Okay, can we compete with these guys? There is 2 container sites, and there is 1 indoor self-storage. Can I compete with the container sites? Sometimes it depends on what sort of condition the container sites are in, if I count them or not. It's a bit of a grey area. I can't really give you any more hard and fast information than that. It depends, unfortunately, on the container site. If they're smart, if they're nice. I mean, there's some brilliant container sites out there that I would count as competition. But these 2 container sites, I definitely don't count one of them, and I'm going on Monday to see the next one, to see on the other one. But what I think the most important thing is, you actually ring them, you actually speak to them, and you actually secret shop them. It's simple as that. You have to secret shop your competition. And all 3 of these sites are completely full. They're completely full. And so that's a tick in the right box for me. I know this location. Yes, one of the indoor sites and the container site, they're both expanding. So it's a slight worry is that the fact that they're both expanding. And so there's going to be more supply. But the demand is going up all the time. There seems to be a lot of houses being built in the area as well. And so that's not too much of an issue for me. So to work out how big, because if you see an indoor site, you don't necessarily know how big the site is. You don't necessarily know how many rooms they've got. And so therefore, how do you calculate what square footage? Well, there's an awesome tool. Just getting up now. Oh no, God, this is instant view. I'm trying to find it. No, area calculator. Here it is. Yes, I knew it was up here somewhere. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place today because I'm trying to get this recorded as quick as possible. I'm re-recording it, obviously. Right, it's called mapdevelopers.com. So mapdevelopers.com /area underscore finder dot php. Now there will be a link in the show notes below, and what this does is basically you put your address in anywhere you want, and then you can draw, you go into Google Maps and you can draw a line around the building, and it'll tell you exactly what the square foot is. I'm sure it's not absolutely 100% accurate, but it gives you an example. And so say if it's 10,000 square foot, we know that 30% of that building will be corridors, receptions, toilets, etc. And so we can just take that off. And so we know that 70% of that building will be self-storage, will be lettable space. Now, what we don't know, what it doesn't tell you, is if it's got a mezzanine floor in. So you must find out if there's a mezzanine floor, because that can make all the difference. Rochdale, when I went to Rochdale, I do store first there. I looked at the numbers and I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. What's an opportunity here? There's only me in store first. It looks a fantastic opportunity to develop a site in a high traffic area. Yes, brilliant. I went to store first and I just presumed it was over 2 floors. No. It was over 3 floors. That changed the whole landscape. It changed the dynamics. It changed my criteria, and therefore we didn't go. So first of all, you need to find out if it's a mezzanine, if it's 1 floor, 2 floors, 3 floors, whatever, because that will affect your calculations. So you can draw a line around the building and you can find out exactly how big that facility is, how much square foot of space they offer by 70% of the space is going to be lettable square foot, 30% is going to be wastage. So that's what we do. We look at that. We look at that area. Another thing is that I was in Scotland last week, and there's so many opportunities. There's opportunities everywhere, but there's so many opportunities in these places. I won't tell you exactly where because I don't want to alert people to it, because I'm not going into there. But there's people that I have a relationship with in Scotland. There's two companies that I have a relationship with in Scotland, but I don't want to compete with them. Why would I want to compete with people I consider that I like and my friends? Why would I want to do that? And I've got nothing against people. Like for example, my landlord who's competing against me, not really bothered. But me personally, I don't want to do that. There's enough opportunity where I don't have to compete with friends. Now, in this place where I'm going to, yes, I do know them. Yes, I have had outside conversations with them very, very briefly, but there's no relationship there. So I'm not too bothered about that. But when I've got a relationship with a company, why do I want to go and be their competition? Because we've all got to help each other anyway. I don't really like that. So another reason for me is who am I competing against? Do I really want to compete against them? Have I got a relationship with them? If I've got a relationship with them, I don't really want to compete with them. Another thing that I look at is SEO. I want to have a look at the SEO, and I want to see where they rank and how they. Basically, I want to see where the aggregators are on the first page. And basically, aggregators are the people who bunch together loads of self-storage facilities and say and give you prices on loads of them. So it's basically an aggregator would be compare to market.com. They're insurance aggregators. So in self-storage, there's loads of these aggregators coming up now. In America, they're all over the place. How would I ranking the aggregators? Now, in this place where I've been looking, only one of the 3 sites actually ranks above the aggregators. If you're not ranking above the aggregators, then you are doing something monumentally wrong in terms of SEO. You need to rank above the aggregators. If you don't, there is big problems with your SEO. So you need to look at that. And so I know that these people, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. If they're dropping the ball on not ranking above the aggregators, where else are they dropping the ball? Because that is such an easy win, a small win. And if they aren't doing that correctly, then there must be other things in self-storage. For me, it's a door ajar. I know that they're doing that wrong, so they must be doing something else wrong in self-storage. They're leaving money on the table, basically. And so when I see that, there's only one of those 3 people in that area. I can't say if it's town, city, or whatever. There's only one person who is beating aggregators. So that means that there's a opening there for me. I know that worst case scenario, I can easily rank second. And then secondly, the last thing I'll talk about is out-positioning people. Can I out-position the other indoor self-storage? Now it's a good site they've got, but can I out-position them? Yes, I can out-position them. And if you can out-position somebody, then your site should be, as long as you do everything right in terms of SEO, etc., then it should be okay. It should fill up exactly the rate you expect it to. And I wouldn't want to go into an area if I can't outposition somebody, if I can't get a high traffic road. And it stands to reason, doesn't it? Really, why would you go and compete in a secondary location against somebody who's already established? They're established, and I need to establish myself. And one way I can get a leg up is by outpositioning somebody. I think that is everything that I spoke about in the last podcast. I'm really sorry this is a little bit rushed and all over the place, because I feel like I had it all planned out, and I've scrubbed away that little bit of paper now, chucked it away. I had the podcast absolutely scheduled out perfectly and went through all the details of the podcast, and what I look for, the competition, what we rank, and hopefully I've mentioned it all. But I feel like the last podcast was a lot better. This one's thrown together a little bit just to make sure we get something out there today. Like I said, done is better than perfect. And I'm sorry if this audio isn't fantastic, but at least I spoke about it. And if anybody wants to know anything more, wants to go any deeper, just get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Hopefully I've gone into what I look for. I probably missed out something. I also look at people's websites as well. I haven't mentioned that. Are the websites good? Are they clean? Are they easy to understand? What is the competition's locations like? I think I've touched upon that for the indoor self-storage. The two container sites aren't very good locations, so I know I can easily outposition them. And yeah, that is basically it. So mapdevelopers.com/area_finder.php is the one that is a great tool that we look at for basically finding out exactly the size of a premises. Simple as that. All right, guys, girls, thank you so much. Sorry, this is, like I say, a little bit rushed, but hopefully it answers all your questions. And I cannot wait to tell you all about this new site. We're very, very close to signing, well, not signing, but going to heads of terms on this new site. That'll be 5 sites. Don't actually know where we're going to get the money from. Actually, I think I do, but I think at this point, I can't do any more without either borrowing some more money or investing. I think we can just do this ourselves, and then that's it. So yeah, every single penny now has been literally reinvested in the company. And yeah, but 5 sites. Oh, it'd be fantastic if we can have 5, and that means all the 5 sites will be open by July as well. So if this all goes according to plan, I'm going to go and see it on Monday to have a little look around the area again, show the wife, get her opinions on it, and then we can go to heads of terms. All right, guys, girls, I will keep you obviously updated in all that. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will speak to you guys soon. Ta-ta.